you are a lot of people, some of you already been to a philosophical cafe and you already know how it works, some other one doesn't. It's the first time for some of you. So philosophical cafe is some kind of game, and he has some rules. It's just a way to discuss a topic all together and be able to find something all together. Of course, we will find more questions than answers, because this way is philosophy. But on the other hand, it will make us able to connect to each other and think together in a sense. On the other hand, as you are that much people, I will need you to be very respectful of the rules, because otherwise, it's like as long as we are 5, I can be very very free and permissive. But as we are like 30, we've never been that much before. Only in Novo Horizonte we've been that much. But in Novo Horizonte we've been like a lot of people just behind listening. I think that a so huge philosophical cafe at the table is like the first one. So thank you very much for coming. And now the first very simple thing that normally is very simple, but not in this case, is just to say name and nationality to be able to know each other. So well, Guido from Italy.
Magda from Poland. Dorota, Polish. Alice from French. Edyta, Poland.
Guido, Italy. Max, Italy.
Marta, Poland.
Piotr from Poland.
Robert, Polish.
Elina, Ukrainian. Dorota from Poland. Agnieszka, Poland.
Maciej, Poland.
Adrian, Portugal.
Emil, Polish. Simon, Poland.
Bartek, Polish.
Elton, Brazil.
You won!
No way!
You're absolutely the farthest one!
Gianmarco, Italy.
Maciej, Poland.
Ruggero, Italy.
Okay, so as always,
You remember everybody?
You remember me?
No, absolutely. I will ask you will ask you your name something like other 5 times, but don't you worry about it. So the first thing we have to say is to propose some topic. We normally take about 10. So you raise your hand and you just say the title. Now, of course, which is the difficult part of this task? Here, the difficult part is just to say one brief sentence without explaining that. Because normally, if you have some topic in your mind, you want to explain it. Afterward, you will have the time to explain it too. But now you have to be able to just say the title, okay? So, who wants to propose a title? Wow! We got 1, 2, 3, 4 for the moment. So I will just go this way because I've been going this way. So, your name once again?
Bartek.
Bartek.
Alright. So, I'd like to ask you what is valuableness. Actually, I'm asking what is value.
What is value?
What does it mean to be valuable? And that's actually something specific. Or
Later.
Value as a word, right? Because we can't hear you here.
Yeah.
Afterward, he will explain. For now, we don't know.
No, but just
What is value? For the normal
value. Okay, we didn't hear the
Yeah,
word.
value. And the second one was Shimon, of course. You raised it.
No,
You didn't raise your hand.
I did.
Wow, that's really a specific.
I don't have
philosophical
anything
cafe.
yet.
You raised.
I didn't raise
Who raised?
I did.
Adrian.
I will try to formulate in a sentence. Homeschooling, yes or no?
Okay. After Bartek, we had somebody here. Once again, your name?
Elina. How do you think what is much important, friendship or love?
Is it more important? Friendship or love?
Yes, my topic will be, should adhering to morality be an imperative for governments while governing? Should adhering to morality be imperative for governments when they rule.
Understand? Shooting.
Okay, now a very complicated thing in a philosophical cafe, in this one even more, is to be silent as long as you don't speak. That's very complicated, but meditation is a very fundamental part of philosophy. So yes, you have to be silent. I'm sorry about it, but if you're not, you will see that furthermore will be totally lost. So, for now we have 4. Do somebody else have a topic to propose?
It's my first time, but I don't know if it's possible, but I will just back the first one, like I strongly support what is value.
You will have your time to support.
Okay.
For now,
I would say like +1.
Okay. Later on we will vote. So now think for yourself what I would like to discuss here now. And raise your hands as when you find something else. Even the same people that already proposed something, if you want.
I have a sentence. Bullshitting yourself. Bullshitting yourself, like somebody bullshits himself.
Okay, Shimon?
Guido, sorry, do you want me to start recording already or not yet?
We already done it. There, you have a red point in here.
Oh, okay.
Could you repeat your question?
Home schooling?
Okay.
Yes or no?
Motivation. Your name was you've been already. Father.
So we're thinking about another question, yeah? Maybe, what is the role of individuals in society?
Your name once again, Robert? Somebody else? Don't be shy. Okay, now the point is, almost all of you coming here had some idea in his mind. So, throw it out.
Let's ask for meditation.
Dorota, yes? We miss 3 and then we start.
Okay, I may add another more. Are people able to change their personality at will?
I know you've got something.
Who we are, where do we go?
I take it, and afterward you will have to explain it.
I have to explain.
Nie mam pojęcia.
Dosnu na przykład. Ale to masz na myśli na przykład podjąć kocykiem, czy przytulić po prostu? Aha, to jest przytulić.
Can you repeat?
Hide your child inside you.
Okay.
Hug, ale embrace.
Hate.
Abbracciare, bravo. Tu hug is abbracciare.
Embrasser en français.
Are we still looking for questions?
En français, en fait, c'est serré.
Non.
Non, non,
C'est vrai,
non, serré, c'est vraiment ça, c'est un passé. Oui, serré, c'est très fort. Serré, c'est prendre dans les bras.
Embrasser is to kiss.
Oui, mais en fait, s'embrasser,
Non.
c'est
It's not
s'embrasser.
all.
Mais
It's not
embrasser,
all.
c'est prendre dans les bras.
I disagree. Okay.
Once again, your name?
Yes.
How to write?
I never met this person. You look the same.
System or variety.
Now we have to wait for the silence before, because otherwise it would be absolutely impossible. If you don't hear each other, afterward you will be not able to vote.
A system or a variety of different everyday style.
A system or variety of
Everyday style. It's no everyday system like family, friendship.
Okay. Szymon, jeszcze jeden.
Is there a point in taking this life seriously?
The best is the today's
Okay. Now there is a very difficult point, is this one. Everyone will have 2 minutes to explain what he means with this title that he proposed. Okay? And so, well, you will have to be very silent, because sometimes people are not very good speakers, but even if they are not that charming, you will have to listen to them. That's a very important part of the Philosophical Café, because in real life, we never listen to people if they are not very able to make them listen, okay? So for example, if I start to speak like that, you don't listen to me. You listen to me only if I'm very precise in my gesture and in my voice. Now here in a Philosophical Café, what we are interested in is not only that, surely, it's even to be able to listen to the others even when looks like there is no point in it. But at the end of the story, you know better than me there is a very interesting point always in listening to the others, because until when you don't know the content, even if the shape is not the one you like, you never know if he's saying something interesting or not. And Adrian, just in case, can you put a little bit up the camera, because I think I will have to stand up all the time this time. Yeah, because otherwise I really don't see the other people. Dziękuję bardzo. So, the first one was Bartek, and he will have to tell us in 2 minutes, about 2 minutes, what is value.
Yes, so...
What, I mean, you don't have to tell us what is value, you just have to tell us why you want to discuss this very topic.
Okay. So I'd like to ask you, what is value? And by that I mean, what is valuableness? There are two different things that you consider to be valuable. First is objects. First are objects. Objective objects, like money, for example. You consider money valuable because you use it, and money are used to save your survival, right? Money nowadays are for survival. You can buy food, privileges, and all that crap with it, right? So, in old times, you wanted to survive and you had to hunt or do other things. But nowadays, money is the thing that provides survival. So you consider money valuable because it continues your survival. But human life only starts when your survival is accomplished. You can only start your living to better life when your survival is secure. Exactly. And the second part is, the second meaning of value is to be valuable. Not, you need to consider the first thing, which is why objects are valuable to you. And the first thing I want to discuss with you is why humans are considered valuable, right? Do you see the difference between the first meaning and the second one?
Of course.
Yeah, exactly. So I would like to hear out your opinions on why are humans valuable and what does it mean to have a value.
Exactly 2 minutes. Now, I noticed one thing, that it's very difficult for them to listen to you. So the next one will have to step up and speak like now, because otherwise it's really difficult for everybody. So Adrian, can you please stand up and tell us why in 2 minutes you want to discuss homeschooling, yes or no?
Yeah, I can stand up, but they can also speak when sitting there. Basically, last week or something, I had a big discussion of a topic that I didn't think that there would be so much discussion as it was, and it was about have parents the right to choose the type of education of their own kids. If it should be mandatory that everybody goes to school, or should there be an option that parents could teach at home, or even tutoring, like hiring a private tutor to their house or something like that. And so I want to divide this topic in two. First is, are parents able to have that option to more than one types of education, rather, not only like the school as we know. And the second part of the topic is, what is your opinion about homeschooling? Does it work? Does it not work? Do you have any experience about that? Well, basically that's it.
Okay, now Elina, can you please tell us why you want to discuss the idea of, is it more important friendship or love?
Yes, so I would talk about this topic because everyone has some human feelings and everyone wants to be loved and to love somebody. And at the same time, everybody would to be understood and to have support in your life in some best or in some worst period in your time. And sometimes when you love, it's more about passion and not more about support and everything. And sometimes we have to sacrifice our friendship to be loved and to love somebody, to be with somebody. And doing this, sometimes difficult choice. So you have to think about, will you sacrifice your friends for somebody who can leave you in any moment and go out, go away, or you will take a balance between these two things. And the love can destroy you, friendship never. But friendship never will give you so strong feelings like love. So what is more important, love or friendship?
Okay. Now, Piotr, should
I think you missed.
that's just impossible.
Remember the lesson with the actual enumeration of who's told.
Should a government aim to morality when they rule?
Yes. So exactly speaking in short words, people are often outraged by actions taken by governments because they consider them immoral or wrong or evil. But my point is, should really the government, the people who take care, they control the whole country, not only the people but also its economy and everything it's made of, should they really take into consideration morality? Or should they not?
Why? Sorry, because you spent something like 30 seconds. So.
Yes, well, it's simple. I mean, why? What? Why?
No, I mean, a normal person would say yes, of course, we have to consider morality. But in your opinion,
Yes.
looks like that
Right.
you don't consider it natural.
Yes.
On the other hand,
A quick example.
Yeah.
We live in well, it's not the richest country in the world, Poland I mean, but then again, we live in the part of the world that has the said 80% of the resources, while the rest have the 20. And I mean, yes, every single one of us as we sit here or stand here will consider, yeah, we should all have equal life, we should have equal amount of resources. But then again, if we would to give up the 3/4 of what our life is, I mean, in things, in our house, our, let's say, cars or bikes or whatever, maybe we wouldn't be so eager to do that. So that's my question. I mean, maybe the government is doing the dirty work for us. So should they or should they not?
so I'd say that is a little bit a question about war.
Well, also, war is one of the tools of how you rule the country. It's one of the most economically, right now, economically valuable. Well, let's see United States, for example. They have outstanding economy based on wars.
Shimon, bullshitting yourself.
What I mean is, sometimes we do something harmful for us and for others, possibly, and it basically is the result of bullshitting yourself. I mean, you're finding like a false explanation to reason this in the name of some kind of consequence, or just not having to admit that you made a mistake, that you were wrong. Or sometimes it's like, for example, with cigarettes or alcohol or whatever. For example, when you give up smoking, well, you fail when you find an excuse, and this excuse is usually, well, fucking bullshit. And that's all.
Can you give us another example, because you still have half a minute?
I finished.
Okay, have you quit smoking?
Yes, I have.
Okay, then we have a good example. Sławek, motivation.
Yeah, so basically, what really motivates us in life? Why do we wake up in the morning? Why do we go to the work? Why do we get tired? What is the drive, the force behind? And if we know the drive, then once we reach the aim, or maybe not the drive, the aim, are we satisfied, or do we look for another motivation? Can we live without motivation at all?
Normally people takes more time,
Yeah,
but people are very...
Myself, I'm really very interested, like,
Yeah.
what drives you?
There's a lot of us here, so we have to make it short.
So, is the motivation really like a kind of conscious one, or is it really something we are not really conscious and we do something we are not aware why we do that? Yeah. Or maybe we are influenced by somebody else. That's not our motivation.
For example, you can give us very shortly an idea about which kind of motivation have you found in your life that was convincing, and which kind of motivation have you found that is not convincing?
Yeah, so basically nowadays I'm really looking at myself, what really drives me. And initially, like I was maybe kind of thinking maybe a kind of career or money, but it's not really. Definitely it's friendship and relationships, it's one of the motivations, but I'm not really sure if it's the only one, or is it just a kind of image, but there's something behind which I'm not really aware. If I really, even if I have a satisfied life on this area, maybe myself, I think I still need some other motivation, you know, to drive me further. Like it's kind of like an endless process.
Okay, thank you very much. And now we have Robert. What is the role of individuals in society?
So, so I would like to know, like, your definition of individual person, and if
I would like to know your one, because you're asking the question.
You say that we shouldn't define our.
But now, yes.
Ideas.
Before, no. Now, yes.
So,
now is the right moment.
So I mean, individuals as person who has an impact or not, or someone who sometimes seems to be queer or inspired us to do something. And I think every one of us knows someone in our society, community who seems to be different. And I would like to discuss about the role of these people in society.
Okay. Dorota, meditation.
Yeah, I have catched the word you mentioned, because I think it's a very difficult idea, and I have personal problem with this idea in my life. So I'm asking myself almost every day, is the meditation possible in our individual cases? How is the, in which dimension is it? It depends on culture we live in which dimension is, it depends on our body state. Should it be a ritual, or is it possible to meditate in our everyday routine? Should we be spiritual, religious, wanting meditate? Should we find in our human condition a kind of goodness or not? In which dimension this idea depends on our mortality, etc. So thousand questions, and I think it's very abstract, but it's very, very important.
Okay, so
When I ask for an explanation, what do you mean by
yes,
meditation?
you will have the time for that exactly afterwards.
Okay, no, but I understood. While we are explaining the topic.
Okay, but you still got half a minute, so if you want to answer, why not? I mean,
because
No,
what do you mean with meditation?
I'm searching for an answer.
no, but what do you mean? What type? What is meditation? You mean sitting in a place, thinking, praying, and what do you think you could achieve by meditation?
Exactly, I'm searching for the definition of this state, and for the aim you can achieve. Because it's an idea linked with religion often. Some kind of religion, not necessarily God, but religion. Also, religion, your personal religion you can have without having God.
Okay.
So, it's open.
Then, after we have Piotr once again, should our people be able to change their personality at will?
Not exactly that. I'm rather curious. Well, not should they be able, but are they able to do that? I mean, we usually consider personality as a finished...
So I change it in are they able?
Yes. So we usually consider personality as a finished product. We cannot change it. I mean, some drastic events in our life can change it. We can become calmer or more serious if something tragic happens. But in that way, we could try to think of ways to make ourselves, let's say, less serious, more funny, more easygoing. So are people able to change their personality at will, by the sheer will, by the sheer strength of their will? Or do they need outside events to do that for them? So yeah, that's my question. Is that possible?
So now we have Vito. Please explain us
my question.
Your question was who we are and where are we going? Yeah. So, okay, it's not that difficult. You just have to tell us why you want to discuss that.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell us who we are and where are we. Just in case if you know it, tell us.
If we will choose this topic, we will talk about this, and we will find for sure an answer. For sure. I choose this topic because I try that altogether we can find partial, a little answer, and because I ask to me this quite every day, I think, but in implicit way, not so explicit. And so why we are here, and if there is a not if there is a God, but if there is a doom, and if there is a destiny for us, and why we are here. And the second question was where we are going. Where we are going? I don't know.
For now, I'm not going anywhere.
Why
are you interested in this question?
Yeah, because I hope that altogether we can find an answer. How many times do I ask?
In theory, 30 seconds, but if you don't use them.
Yeah, if you have questions for me, I can.
Okay, I have one. Where are we going? Do you mean in the sense of destiny of humanity, or do you mean just in the sense
individual
of
and collective?
Okay. So, Magda, hug your child instead of you.
Okay, I'm really poor speaker because my English is not so perfect. But I really support you. So there is a boy and girl, yes, and they make something like that.
Sorry.
And they start to play, and there is no happy ending because they are still child inside. And my question is, can you judge, looking on the other person, on looking in the mirror, what part of you ask for attention, and how you can support people, other people, or you, by communication, by hugs, to grow up?
It's like you asking about what is inside of us, what want of attention of others, like.
Yes, because many people just.
For them, they don't see.
Okay. Just use alcohol or sex or chocolate for them. Yes. And what speaking with you, can you judge what child asking for attention? Maybe need time, maybe you need, I don't know what, love.
So this child is a negative thing at all?
No, it's a very good thing, but you must get to know what is it.
You need to raise it.
Yes, exactly. And did you ever thought about it? And did you find in yourself and in other people?
Okay, now we have Lily. System or variety of difference in everyday life.
Hello.
Hello, Lily.
So, why I use the word system? I mean a system of everyday life, like going to school, university, making friends, love, money, job, etc. So, everyone do it, but maybe when we wake up, we can think about we can change our life. I don't know, like. Someone can ask you that why you shouldn't, why you don't want to go to university, and or why you still alone, because you are older and older and you should think about it. And I want to discuss with you this thing because. The system is so important for us to live like that, or we can change our way. And for example, being alone. For example, someone can be happy being alone or being without job, but it's not like a lazy person. It's his or her opinion, and that's all. And everyone says that it's not impossible, and he's a normal person. So I want to discuss with you this.
I'm sorry, are you asking us how our lives are organized?
What?
Are you asking us how our lives are organized?
About rules in life.
More about rules about
Should we follow them?
Wait. Just one question, otherwise she will explode. Okay, we can take first question very briefly.
Yeah, how our lives are organized? Are you asking us about that?
Second question here.
Asking exactly, you mean like the rules of the society that everyone follows, from the childhood, and that we do, education. If that's right or it's not right.
We have a third one up here, like you.
I just want to clear up. This is about rules in life. Should we follow them, judge about based on them, and so on? Like that.
Now, a brief answer in 30 seconds. Thank you.
So I should answer, yeah?
If you want.
Yeah, I agree with you. Because I can talk about. I want to talk about. Our rules in everyday life, like we grow up and go to school, university. I talk. No, I mean it.
So, sorry.
Yeah.
So, are you asking us about ethics, right?
Ethics? No, it's not about ethics.
No, but how should we live, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's ethics.
Okay. Now we will need the last one, Shimon.
Could you remind me?
Is there a point in taking life seriously?
Okay. As far as I know, nobody found yet an answer for the question. Where are we going? Maybe we're gonna find it tonight, but I highly doubt it. So that brings us to the conclusion that it may not really have any sense. So if it doesn't have sense, if we can't find it, why would we be so serious about it? Why would we, for example, follow the system and be so serious about getting education, job, and family? And that's all. I think personally, I think it should be more about having fun with this thing we got here, and we don't really know why.
Okay, now now we will have a little pause before to vote and decide which topic we will decide. Normally this part is more complicated. It's like anyone can explain, counter-explain, have questions, but now we are too much people, so it takes a lot of time. So if I do that, we will have no time to discuss the topic we choose afterward. So we stop here. We already heard the topics. I will repeat the topics at the beginning of the second part. In, let's say, 15 minutes we will have the second part, because people need to go to the bathroom maybe, and maybe somebody of you wants a coffee, I don't know. I want a tea personally. And another thing, I started giving philosophical consultation even on Skype, and people wanting a philosophical consultation, if they are already been in a philosophical cafe, I give consultations for free. So just in case, if you want to try what's that, it can be an occasion. When I'm here, or via Skype when I'm not. It means like the biggest part of the month. So now, yeah, we'll take just 15 minutes and we will be back, choosing the topic and discussing the topic we're choosing.
How many topics can we discuss?
One.
Only one per session?
Yeah, but of course, departing from one point, we can develop it in many directions.
I know.
So we can, just one will win, but we can totally touch even a lot of the others during the discussion.
Of course.
It's not that close, it's just that we have to choose a departing point. Now, if you want to stop. Stop. Everybody can vote, even for all the topics. It's like you can even always raise your hand. The point is that you raise your hand every time you hear a topic that you would like to discuss. Okay? Don't. If afterward we will have two topics with the same number of votes, we will vote again. But normally we have a winner the first time, so no problem. So, first topic, what is value? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Homeschooling, yes or no? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is it more important, friendship or love? Mine once again. Should a government have to aim to morality when they rule? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bullshitting yourself. You don't even vote for yourself. You're not a good father to your son?
Are you bullshitting yourself?
You're bullshitting yourself. Okay. Motivation. How many? 11. 11. Możemy to zrobić jeszcze raz, jeśli chcecie. Nie jestem dopiero pewien, ale myślę, że to 11.
Sai contare. Contare e camminare, lo sai fare.
What is the role of individuals in society? Here we have the silence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Meditation. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10. And the Brazilian friend. Out.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, but he's not here. So.
She told you.
Yes, it has.
But he was.
Once again. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
And
am I right?
Okay.
Brazilian man.
Not count the Brazilian guy. Come on, it's less.
Can we count all of them?
11.
Yes.
11.
Are they sorry, I was correcting your sentence, but
Are people able to change their personality at will?
this one. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Co to było? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I didn't even know that we were 16. Until now. Who we are and where do we go? No, and when and where are we going? I'm sorry.
When or where?
Where?
When and where?
Sorry. My mistake.
Just something
Sorry,
lovely.
my mistake. Once again. Who we are and where are we going? 1, 2, 3, 4. Hug your child inside of you. Hug your child inside of you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. System or variety of difference in everyday life.
Absolutely.
That counts too. Absolutely, and I'm joking. Yeah, a system or variety of difference in everyday life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So? Is there a point in taking life seriously? 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now, here we have a winner, Piotr.
Yay.
Are people able to change their personality at will? Now, the rules to discuss this topic are very simple. One by one, you will have to raise your hands, okay? And I will write down your name. You cannot directly answer to each other because otherwise it's going to be a hell, okay? So, if Piotr is speaking and Maciej wants to speak, he raises his hands, I note Maciej, and after Gianmarco, and after Dorota.
Do we have two Maciej?
To może być problem.
I'm Maciej too. I'm sorry.
Maciej on the left, Maciej on the right.
Jesteś Maciej P?
No, Maciej K.
K. Maciej K i Maciej, nie pamiętam.
Maciejka.
Ty. Ty i K. Dobra. Już nie ma problemu. So, it's gonna be very difficult because we are a lot of people. Please help me. Don't speak when somebody else is speaking. Don't even speak with your neighborhood. Because with your neighborhood we will all hear what you're saying, okay? And even the person that is trying to express himself. And it's not very pleasant when you do that. So, yes, Piotr will start, but to help Piotr we need somebody to give a question to Piotr about this topic to start. So, everybody having a question about are people able to change their personality at will? Yes. Every people having a question, raise your hands. You voted it, huh?
And if somebody has a statement?
If you have, no, you need a question, because otherwise if you just have a statement, well, if you have just raise your hand and let's see, okay? 1, 2, okay, you look around you, you pick up one, and
so who was here? Yes. Okay. All right.
No, well,
fire away.
I don't know if I have actually a question because, but it's a very interesting topic, taking into consideration that I had last an example about change your personality when I was, because many people probably know, but probably especially Polish people don't know who is Balotelli. I discussed a lot with my friend because I was doing a football match, because I was saying, well, Balotelli will change this problem, but in fact many people tell me, no, don't think, no, it's impossible, he will never change. And it's actually a bit true, I guess, okay, I was taking this example and putting in my life, because even myself, I don't know if I can really change, even if they ask me to change, or if I can change the people, even if if I can hope that people is changing. So that's why I think that is a very interesting topic. If anyone thinks, do you really think it's possible to change? Well, to change a person. Let's say.
So I make it easier for people to hear me. Yes, I do.
yes, it's better if you raise when you speak.
Yeah.
Because as we've seen before, if somebody speaks there without raising up, it's almost unlistenable.
So yes, answering that question, I do believe that we can change. Well, I will adhere to a certain remark given to me. I do not mean the basic theories of personality created by psychologists. I mean what usually people consider to be a personality. So whatever comes to your mind, that's what I mean. Not the core ideas created by scientists. Answering the question, yes, we can change other people. That's certain. I am very sure of it. If the question, if we are able to change ourselves at will, yes, I do think so. It might be hard because, contrary to, let's say, physical changes, we don't need physical strength, but rather the strength of will. But yes, it's possible. All right, another question?
No, you've done, and now we have Adrian.
So I would like to say that I do agree with you that we are able to change somebody else and that we are able to change ourselves. But there is something that defines you as a person that will say that you are Piotr and that will never change. I mean, there's a part of you that makes it you, that only you to be, and there's another part that you can change through through your life, through your education, through the people you meet. Yeah, so there's a part that can be changed, and that there's a part that you can change in the others, and we all change every day by our life. When you have someone, when you have a partner, there's some things that you need to accept, just to be together with that person, and so you will change a bit. But there's always going to be something that will make it you, no matter what happens.
Just one thing before to go further. You see that Marta is writing, that's the best thing to do. Because probably from now, furthermore, you will have a lot of time from when something comes up in your mind to when you can really tell it. So write down. Follow her. Now we have Slavek, and Edyta. Jest, cześć. Nie wiedziałem.
Cześć.
Gianmarco.
Yeah, I have a question for Piotr, for everybody, but especially for you. But this is like a goal that we should achieve, and then you're thinking if to be different, to change, it can be achieved or not. I mean, are we assuming that we're talking about when to change is something you have to do, because it's not always the case. So because it's a clarification for me. So this is when to change, to be different, or to change somebody else because he's doing something. Are we starting from the assumption that the change and to be different is good, and then you're thinking if we can or not? But how is this? I mean,
I don't know.
Because why to change in the first place? You can. Okay. So later, when you can, when you can, basically the question is, but why you are assuming that we have to change, or we have to change some? I mean, because it looks like you are already assuming that this is a goal that everybody should somehow achieve. But it's okay. I mean, as for me, I found myself in situations where people were trying to change me, and that was not the right thing to do. I mean, so is this only because I think that you meant when this is your goal to do something different, to change yourself, because it's not always like this. If people are trying to change you, or if you try to change other people, you are making a violent act. I mean, nobody ever gave you that. So as for me, to change is not. I mean, we're talking about to change or to be different has always a positive connotation, which is not the case. Yeah. For sure, everybody found himself or herself in a situation where people were trying to change you guys. And I hope that nobody here never tried to change anybody else.
For you.
Because we couldn't drink vodka together, yeah? So that's why. So when you can, because I need, as for me, based on your next speech, I will know what we're talking about, because this is crucial.
Ruggero.
But can I make a statement, or do I have to?
You can say what you want. Give questions, statements.
I would like to answer this question from another angle. Like, I think that you can change your personality depending on the level of how much you don't give a shit about what others think about yourself. So I was just thinking of like a very important Italian author when you were talking about that, Pirandello, who wrote a poem about being one, being 100, and being nobody. No, uno nessuno 100.000. So nobody, one, and 100,000. Because he was discussing like the personality that you can, like how much you can adjust your personality according to what other people expect from yourself. So if you don't have expectations about what other people think about you, then this kind of topic becomes almost pointless in a good sense. Because it's like you recognize the perception of yourself, you recognize the identity of yourself, you recognize the value of yourself. So you don't need to adjust the personality depending on what other people expect from you, because I think it's connected with what Gianmarco said, but it's just from the other side of it.
Piotr.
That's me now. All right. Yep. That's cool. All right. First, answering. Well, let's say not answering, but stating towards what you have said. I do believe that we actually can change what makes us us. There are events in our lives that may lead to such change. I don't mean that at expense of or because of some minor change in my lifestyle, like getting a job, I will instantly change to someone else, to not being Piotr. But then again, there might be events that will push me towards completely changing myself and my behavior as a result. So let's say to avoid injuries, I mean emotional ones, I might change myself and who I am. I might stop being Piotr to become some other Piotr. So that's what I do believe. Answering your question, I do not consider only changing based on what people expect of us to do or what we want to change someone else. I also consider conditions, the way of life you have right now, what is happening around you. So not exactly that you may want to, and also answering your question. So also not only changing because someone expects us to change, but changing because we want to. And also answering your question, I do not consider this change to be a goal itself. I consider it a tool to achieve something else. It's not that we have to change all the time, because, well, what's the point? I mean, the change is there so we can adjust to different conditions, to different circumstances. There is no point in changing if everything is okay. That being said, I do not consider only changing because someone expects me to. And I do not consider change as being the upper value, the goal. It's only the tool. It's something you do because either you want to or you have to. So that's that.
Okay, just one thing before to go on. Sometimes I just add a simple question to make the debate even deeper, or try to. I see you. And my question is very simple in this moment, and it's this one. How is it possible to know who we are? Because before to know how to change, we have to know who we are. And you can take this little provocation or not, so it's up to you.
Yes, I will.
And no.
All right,
the person after you. And in this specific case is Marta.
That's pretty cool because I actually want.
But if you just one thing, if you want to answer, I can already mark your name for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guido.
Guido. Piotr Ishim.
Alright. So my question was, what's the core idea of you? I mean, how you can define yourself? Is it the you? Is it some kind of a soul or something, or I don't know, a list of your traits? Because I don't really know if somebody tells me be yourself. What does it mean? Does it mean I should do what I want? Like I'm feeling like killing somebody. I'm being myself, right? Or not? So that's the first question. And about changing others, I think that the permanent change is only possible when the person is wanting it too. It's like you can try to change somebody's habits, for example, but it won't work if this person wouldn't like to go a different way. It's like with the addicts, because I was actually volunteering, and in the I learned that it's not really like that. So the third thing is changing myself to make my life easier. Piotr already said something like that. Because it's like, for example, if I'm anxious in a group of people, I will do something to change it. So I am feeling less nervous. That's it.
Sławek.
Yeah. So I think like the capability to change is a built-in property of the personality. So at the end, like there is no change, there is just different expression of the personality.
Wow, quite quick. Edyta.
Yeah, I might have something similar to say. Well, do we actually change, or maybe we just become, as we go older, more of who we really are? Like, say, you know, like maybe at school, like when we were young, we tried to conform and like pretend, well, act like other people maybe, like, you know, and then you change, but that change actually lies in like just getting back to, you know, like your own core, like, and yeah, just becoming more yourself. And is that really a change, or just like fighting a real you,
Bartek.
Here. Yeah, I got a question and a statement. But first of all, analogy. I've got a tissue here, right? There's a certain tissue here, and I would like to say that that tissue can change. I can squeeze it, right? And it stays the tissue, but it's squeezed tissue, right? So it's a change, it's a certain change. And I think what we are talking about here is a transformation. Transformation is, as you would say, said, certain core qualities that humans have. For example, personality. You're asking about personality. A person can change at will, right? And by asking that, you're asking about transformation, right? You can become someone else. You can attain new qualities, certain qualities. For example, the change would be, I will gain weight, or I will lose weight. It doesn't change who you are, but it's a change of who you are. But the transformation in yourself is to attain new qualities. For example, speaking new language, right? And that's what I would like to say. And question now. Question. Actually, that was everything I wanted to say.
Elina.
So for me also, I agree with Jean-Marc on what is the point of these changes? Is it for worse or is it for better? Because is it only for better, so it's going up? Because everything changed. So you are progressing or degrading. It's like logic things. And also, I think that it's most important to be personality and to be yourself. And for me, to be yourself is to be happy in what you are doing. And it's not about some instincts and killing somebody. It's about creating things. It's about creating something. To give something from you to others, to the world. To make some steps higher and to approach in your life. And also, I think why it's so important to be a personality. You can be, you can smoke, you can drink alcohol, you can do like some unmoral things what are not accepted in the society, but you will be great and you will be loved with everybody. Like for example, Jimmy Morrison, the solist of the group The Doors, he finished not so well. He died when he had 27, but he left, he stayed in the history of music. I think he was personality, even doing some bad things, and maybe somebody would see him change and would change him. So really, is it the point of changes for what you are doing it, and if you really want it, and will you feel a slave in these changes, or you will be happy? Because you can change, you can behave in different manner. Like for example, I can put cats, all stars, or I can put high heels, and they feel different. But in what I feel comfortable, and when you feel comfortable, I think
is it you, it's yourself?
Little provocation. Is it to change mask a real change? Because a lot of people are quite able to change mask, but is it a change for the neuro-linguistical programmation? Yes, it's a real change. For traditional psychology, no, it's not a change. Just a little provocation. But now we got Adrian.
So I have one question, and like your question, the start of the topic is that are we able to change if we want?
Yes.
My question is, are we able to not to change if we want? Like, can I say I don't want to change and I will be like now forever? This is one question, and the other question is taking of what Edita said. What if we are only searching to who we are, and we will only find it out like maybe at the end of our lives, and now we are just looking for something? Is that it's not a change maybe itself, it's just like looking for it until you finally find it, and you know, okay, this is what I wanted to achieve and this is me. That's all.
Piotr.
Alright, so I will pick up the first provocation. How do we know that we are who we are? So what is our personality? I mean, it's impossible to answer that question. We will either assume that we are who we are and that's our personality, or we will try to answer the question like how we can prove that we are conscious. So we can't. We simply can't in a discussion. What I consider to be personality is like an operating system to the computer. This is a whole set of different things, habits, thoughts, opinions of mine that may make me tick in a certain way. So that's what I consider me. Regarding your question about can we not change, yes, absolutely. I would consider it to be way harder than changing, though, because when you want to change, you simply see what you don't want to have in yourself. And yeah, I don't want that, I will change in a different manner, and you can easily see the difference. But by wanting to stay the same, you have to all the time be vigilant to not change. Regarding the remark about the age, I think that that's really it's really hard to consider the personality during that time, because well, people change a lot, from little kids to young adults. For example, psychologists consider that the personality becomes, let's say, stale, not stale.
Stable?
Yes, stable at the age of 25 or something similar. So, we really, well, we can consider that a change, but it's not like we are finding anything new. And that's going here. I do not believe that, well, you said that change may be for good and for bad. I do not see a value in the change. Because you said that you can change for better while you create, you give people some things. And I would consider that some people may change to become, well, as you say, well, I consider you would like to be a creator. You won't give to the community. But some people may want to change to become the destroyers.
Yes,
they want to destroy, they want to kill, they want to ruin everything around, and I do believe that we need both. We need both the people who can create, we need both the people who can ruin. And that is also answer to you. Alright. Something else? About the tissue. Yes, that's exactly, I think, what Guido here said, because, well, you have shown us a tissue and you kind of folded it, and that's not really a change. I mean, it's still a tissue.
Yeah,
but change would be if you would lit it on fire,
yeah,
and you would let it burn.
Transformation. The change is actually...
This you barely change the form this tissue is exhibited. So you change the mask of the tissue. It's still the tissue, it's the same tissue it was. You can see it a little bit differently, really as much as, I don't know, I could right now try to imitate Russian accent, and in that way of thinking I could transform myself, but I wouldn't really change myself. So I would really consider changing the tissue if you would do something with it, like, I don't know, burning it, putting it in the water, or changing the chemical nature of the substance of the thing. So, yeah, that's me.
Shimon.
Okay, what do we have here?
Step up.
First of all, my answer for the question. Can we change ourselves at will? I think it's possible if you know the means, because as Piotr said, it's more or less an operating system, it's a program. And, well, with some means we are able to rewire ourselves and change the program and program ourselves again, or somebody can program ourselves with brainwash, for example. So it's definitely definitely possible, and we actually already know how to do it. What else? Well, you said something like we should change only if we need to, but then personally I need change all the time, because, well, okay, you need change to develop. I mean, what's the point if you don't develop? Thrive equals change, and therefore it's, well, you always kind of have need to change. Why stand motionless? It's not possible to know who we are. This is your provocation. You already said everything I wanted to say. What else? Somebody said something like ability to change may be a part of personality. And now I ask, what if somebody learned to be able to change?
Sorry, could you repeat?
What if somebody learned how to be able to change? So what if somebody wasn't able to change himself, but he found a means to do so? Also, you already answered to Selina's question about change for the better or for the worse, and my question here would be, what does it mean, better? I don't know what that means. Can you decide not to change? You said you can. I strongly disagree. I mean, you live in the context. You live in the context, and context is changing all the time. And you can't be a part of the context. And even if you manage to isolate yourself, no way you're not going to get new conclusions. You're always going to change. Yeah, that's all.
Now a tough, well, before I will mark you, once again, your name was?
Elina.
Elina, sorry. Elina. Now a strong provocation about philosophy of history. If somebody of you have already seen the movie, and probably almost everybody, there is in cinemas now Miasto 44. It's about a huge change of a city, okay? And up there, at the end, the last frame is very interesting. Because at the end of this movie you see the city completely destroyed, and after...
Spoiler.
No, I'm going to the cinema on Saturday.
Not that strong spoiler, come on. Everybody knows that at the end Warszawa exists, okay?
Okay, I don't know, I can't take it.
Wow. One reaction for a strong provocation.
He goes to the cinema.
Give me your ticket.
I'll be back with you, eh?
Okay. Now, my provocation is this one. Chinese people have a word for crisis that is Wei Ji. That means problem and opportunity. You have some kind of syntagmas. Problem and opportunity. Because every problem is always even an opportunity. So, is it a so huge change made by war? In Warsaw is so evident, but in a lot of cities during the last century in Europe, we had a situation quite similar. Is that huge change useful or no? Because on the other hand, you have even to admit that, for example, in Florence, we never had war, a real war, and we still got streets that size. We are not able to develop the city. On the other hand, in Warsaw, you really have a new city. So, problem, opportunity. And here I'm done, and I mark down Piotr once again, and Dorota.
I was waiting for so long that I already forgot.
Told you to write.
During your performances, I had two main thoughts about it, and I was just thinking if we are just not talking about that we can only change our behavior, our pattern of behavior, the way we behave, the way we answer to another behavior, another person's behavior. And the second thought was, because we all just try to figure it out, what does the identity means? And I was just thinking if it depends on what kind of concept of identity we accept, because we have two concepts, yes? We have this constant concept of stable identity and this liquid identity, supported by Bauman, by Giddens. So maybe identity is not something that we have, that we are born with. Maybe it's just some kind of the process we take part in it. So we shouldn't consider changing as a changing, because it's natural part of identity. So.
Roger.
No, yes, I think she said what I wanted. She used the word liquid. I was actually...
I'm sorry.
No. I mean, I would have said like the perception of yourself against who you really are. Because anyway, like someone mentioned like that this has been already discussed, but I don't think so. Like even in your example of, okay, you are a computer and you can change whatever you put inside the computer. Like, I think I'm good at maths, I think I am tall, I think I am whatever, and I can change all these patterns. Like, this is the perception of myself, like I'm Italian, I'm this and this and that. But nobody refrain me from, okay, if I think that I'm totally incapable of, I don't know, solving a mathematics problem. I think if I put effort in that, I can change this part of myself. But all these features, like, belong of the perception of my identity. But who are you? You didn't answer this question for me. Who is this computer? How would you describe the case of this computer? How would you describe your computer?
Okay, then Marta.
Okay. Well, a lot of what I was wanting to say was already told by Piotr. I mean the destroyers and Pietr's part, because I don't really think, because you said that killing is an instinct, and I see creativity as an instinct too, because you need creativity to create things to make you survive, because we don't have clothes, we don't have, well, we are not that good at hunting without weapons. So, yes. And by the way, I don't think everybody is creative at the same level. So is being myself in these days something like being the creative leader? If you are not the creative leader, you are the loser, right? So it's like a pushing everybody to being the creative leader, but who will be working for these creative leaders? So, and question to you, do you think that, I don't know, do you define being myself or trying to be myself as being useful for the society? So I can be only true to myself and be true myself if I am useful, right? Because killer is not useful in your...
No, why it's not useful? It's also, yes, I'm waiting for my cue.
Just a little provocation that comes up in my mind. Is it society really able to change us or not? There are plenty of theories about it. Magda, to tutaj.
I thought about what you said. How you can know who you are. And for me, we are a puzzle. And to see the picture, we need a mirror. And this is the most important thing. And also the most critical thing. Because people are really afraid of the mirror. And mirror is every single man which you can meet. And I think that the clue of the change is good feedback. Because, for example, if somebody is feel bad, really bad, and for example smoke cigarettes, yes, say, oh my God, I feel so bad. Okay, but what is the problem? Can you tell me? And when you go, come on, please leave it. You have a problem with the cigarettes. You say no. Come on. Because when you say about your real problem, it's so strange to you that it's something like dragon in yourself. It's so creepy, so bad person. Because somebody showed you the truth. And I think the best thing can do is support the person. So you can say, okay, I see that you are good in these things, and you can expand into it. But I need something from you, or I see that you have a small problem with, and people start to think about themselves. So I think that it's quite good change factor.
Gianmarco.
Okay. Interesting debate. I think that what Piotr means is different, because we mean different things. So Piotr is talking about if it's possible to change personality. These words are yours. People are talking about if it's possible to change life. People are talking about if it's possible to change habits. So we are talking about it, but this is the spirit, I guess. So for Piotr, personality, I'm surprised to hear that. I mean, if you could give at this point an example, because it's impossible. I mean, how in the first place we would like to change our personality. I mean, what I'm doing basically is trying to defend my personality. If you ever wanted to change your personality, if you could, can we give examples also, practical examples, so it's more understandable.
Well, if you want to, feel free.
No, I'm asking. So
okay.
If I understood it correctly, and this is about to change, if people can achieve to change their personality, personally, this is I'm never thinking about to change my personality. If he was thinking about this, if he can give an example, because for me it's about absurd. Change life, of course, it's possible, and this is this is my when I didn't vote for the topic, but I hoped it was about this. That like that sometimes it's good to change because when you go outside your the zone where you are fine and easygoing, it's good for you. You can develop more. Just for me now, no more question. I'm giving my idea. So then I would like your reply. If you can give an example, if that was the case. My idea, my assumption of the topic and what I was hoping for was, to change or to do something better for you. And so in my opinion, the change is good when you do something good for you and for sure not bad for anybody else, but if it should be good for not only for you. So the benefit might come from like let's say the feelings. So if you feel, let's say that if the feeling is the one we are focusing on, I'm changing. Whatever I'm doing it in order to feel good. In my free time. This is the idea. So there are duties in life, and then there is the free time. So in my free time, when I'm out of duties, I have time to spare. Whatever I do, I try to, from a given reality, whatever I do, so whatever I'm trying to achieve is aiming to stimulate at least one of the 5 senses I have. So I'm always doing so. If I'm in my place on the sofa, and if I'm going somewhere else, it means that I'm going to feel better doing it. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. I do things only when this is the spare time. Then we have duties. So I change the place where I am. I change the city now, living in Wrocław. If I change it's because I think it makes me feel better, and also because for sure I don't say that it should help also other people, this would be perfect, but at least it doesn't bother anybody else. So when the change is good for me and doesn't bother, Pareto, I gain something and nobody else is losing anything, so I do it. If I don't gain anything and the others are not losing, what's the point? The result is zero. If I do good for me, bad for the others, I don't do it because the result is still zero. And if it's nothing for me and bad for somebody else, for sure I won't do it. So, or if it's negative for both. So that's why we should change. But of course I think that Piotr, and then I leave the word, you meant something different, so if you can change your person, then I'm super interested in the potential example. Thank you.
Okay, now we are approaching to the end, so we have 6 people still have to speak. We will leave Piotr as the last one because you will have to tell us if, what exactly have you found interesting inside of the
So it's not possible to get on the list anymore?
No.
Damn it. So close.
But Guido is inviting everybody to his place after this, so then there are no rules.
I'm not inviting you at my place because it's too little, but on the other hand, I'm inviting you to stay because I will take another drink and I will say a little bit more. Just, I'm finishing the philosophical cafe because somebody had to...
You have jacuzzi, Guido.
Guido is living in a very comfortable place. So, and if he told me...
Yeah, with other 2 people. Okay, just a little last provocation. There is a classic one, but it didn't come up until now. Isn't to change a sort of little death?
Oh, I was about to talk about this.
But you weren't quick enough.
Sorry, could you repeat again?
Okay, I can argue, but you're going to be very quick, okay?
Of course.
Okay. I to wszystko. Emil.
Okay, so I have 3 issues to address today. I hope I can remember them all. And first of all, somebody has mentioned already the issue of brainwashing, right? When somebody completely alters their personality or is forced to do so. And assuming that such a thing is possible, if you undergo a total brainwash, are you still the same person? If you have completely different habits, different tastes, different opinions, different whatever goals, aims, are you still the same person or a different person? And another issue is that it kind of reminds me of the story of the ship in a harbor. there is a ship in the harbor, and gradually, one by one, we replace every single plank, every single board in the ship. And after we have replaced all the planks, all the boards, is that still the same ship or a different ship? And another thing that's kind of connected with that is that we have a very wonderful, we used to have a very wonderful sci-fi writer from Poland, Stanisław Lem. Recommend to Lem. Yes, recommend to everyone. There was a film based on a book of his, and it told the story about the guy that was a race driver. At one point, he had an accident, and some part of his body had to be transplanted. So after this accident, they changed his hands. Then there was the second crash, and they had to change his legs. The third crash had to change his brain. Fourth crash, liver, heart. So after several crashes, essentially, the vast majority of his body was changed. Right. So again, his head was the same, but his body was totally altered. So then again, is he the same person or has he changed? You know, probably that's not going to be answered to today because we're finishing. But anyways, I'll try to address a second issue, which was the issue of, you said at one point that essentially we cannot say that one change could be for the better and another for the worse. So you said that in your opinion they're both indispensable. We need both of them in some way, and that's what kind of sounds a bit sketchy to me. Because when I think of myself, I can think about certain changes that could be for the worse and could be for the better. Obviously, these are subjective changes. There might not be the same for you, but I do think that I can apply certain criteria to put one of them higher than the other. So I don't really think that every change is the same, that every change has the same value. That's something I agree with you about, which you might want to address later on. And finally, I had the third issue, which I totally forgot. So don't mind me. Thank you.
Thank you. Bartek.
Yeah. So, first of all, the first issue, the strong statement of Piotr that we can't change if you want to. And Andrzej?
Adrian.
Adrian. Yeah, the question of Andrew, can I not change? Well, first of all, I think it's not possible to not change, because the person that wakes up every morning could be a different one from the one that goes to bed. And why is that? Well, you said something about destructor and constructor. Well, you said that in context of social things, but what is change? And to answer that, I would like to again talk about the tissue before. So you said that the change is something substantial to that. It's something that changes the essence of the thing. Like if you burn the tissue, that means it changed into something. Well, I was talking about the same thing, but I used the word transformation, and that just says that the quality of the tissue changed. It changed into the ashes. That's completely different qualities. But it's not important. The most important thing is that we talked about the same thing, about I just used the different words for it. And about the constructor and creator. That's basically, you explain the process of changing in the world right now. There's something that constructs something, and there's something that kills it. You know, there's the process of being born into the world, and the process of dying into the world. That's actually the certain first laws of the universe, that everything that is changing, because it cannot be not changeable. It cannot be infinite. It cannot be not destructible. You know, there are no such things in the world that are invincible. Invisibility means to not be in process of change, to not die, right? For example, the structure dies, which means it's changing its components. For example, humans are changing skin every 7 years. Like all parts of particles that creates my skin are changing every 7 years, right? That's what science says. And there are no such things in the universe that are not changing. Well, there is one, that's God. God is almighty, right? There are actually three things that make God God. He's almighty,
completely good.
Yeah, omniscient and omnipotent, right? And omnipotence actually implies goodness and beauty, goodness and beauty was in ancient times.
May I sorry, just one thing, because it's completely good, completely powerful, and completely
wise. Yeah, that's omniscience, right? Yeah. So God is omniscient, omnipotent, and the third thing is invincible, right? So yeah, I think I'm. So now, who are we? Aristotle, for example, said that every human is unique. Everyone is a snowflake, right? Because even if certain parts of our lives are very similar to other parts of other people, for example, I can drink beer on this session, right? And some of you will drink beer as well. So that makes us not special. That makes us the same in that part. But Aristotle said that the conjugation of these things, right? The summa.
What?
Some of these things.
I have to ask you to shrink.
Okay, some of these things makes what us unique. Even if certain parts of that sum are different, the sum of these things make us unique, and it's not possible for two humans to have the same sum of things that make us the same. And now, your question is: society able to change ourselves? Well, it depends on ourselves, and it depends on our openness to society. Because humans, from the very beginning, when they are children, they are very egocentric because, well, they cannot be different way, because they are very curious about outside world. They need to gain the knowledge, and they can be very absorbed about the greenness of the leaf, for example. They can be completely absorbed in the idea of the greenness of the leaf. That's what actually do not children, as you said, that personality become into someone who we are at the age of 20 something, right? Children do not know the idea of who I am. They just are. They don't create constructs like we right now. So children are very egocentric at the beginning, but later, when they grow up, they change by certain qualities, and they gain predicates or sentences that objectifies who they are and what they think they are.
And that's it, because we have to move on. I'm sorry.
Let's move on.
Adrian.
Well, he said almost everything I wanted to say. I just wanted to answer you and copy him in a way that I don't agree with you when you say that we can just block it, then that we can say we cannot change, because there might be something we can do about ourselves, but there are some things in life, I mean there's a lot of things in life that you just don't control and affect you and change you the way you are. Wars, like the example you were giving, or a death of a close person to you, or something that will have an impact on you, and those things you cannot control. You cannot say, okay, I will not react on that, and you have to. And also I wanted to give the example of the biology, that you every 7 years you are like biologically not yourself anymore, So there's, in my opinion, not the option to say I will never change or I can block everything, because there are things you can just not control and change you. And to answer the society question that Guido said, well, human being mostly is needs society, needs to live with other people. Of course, there's people that live in the middle of nowhere, but people that live in a society, in my opinion, by the same reason I was saying before, cannot block it or avoid it. In a way, what's happening around you will always have an impact on you, so it will always end up changing you in a way. That's it.
Okay, now Marta, now step up for once, so because they still know your voice but not your face. Szymon i Piotr.
Alright, so I just want to answer you, because you told about the people and mirrors. How can we know ourselves, or how can we define ourselves? And this is, I guess, the tool, right? By people who are mirrors for us, they tell us, they give the feedback how we are seeing. Well, I think it's a lot of people and a lot of mirrors, and every mirror is different. So the ending factor in this mirror game is you. So it's still not really that, well, I won't say it's really that crucial. It's just some feedback you can manage and try to, well, see which factors are, are more than once. You can hear it more than once and then tell yourself if you want to change it or not. And maybe a little just mention about the planks in a ship and changing. I see it as a changing of a flesh, like, I don't know, I don't have an arm or something like that. And I guess it can affect you, like losing your arm or leg, can affect whole your life, but I don't think it's a change that will define you. That's it.
Szymon.
Well, nothing more to say because, he already said most of things I wanted to say. But I got a new point because you said something about living in society and that it would impact you.
Mm-hmm.
I remember mentioning that we live in a context, so basically it was like the third time it was said. And I also said something about isolation. Even when you're isolated and nothing influences you, you get like, this clockwork in your mind which still makes you get new conclusions and change yourself. So, I don't know, you would have to hibernate yourself in order not to change. And I'm not sure even if this would work. And also, Marta said something about that people are afraid of mirrors, right? I gonna bring back my topic, which got the smallest quantity of votes. People are afraid of mirrors, and that's why they bullshit themselves. Thank you.
We'll remember that.
Now, just two things more. Piotr, and then just salutes.
Alright.
So, the question for you now is, what have you found interesting inside of this specific philosophical cafe? Departing from your idea you had, what have you found interesting between everything that has been said all around you?
Alright.
And of course, if you want, you can take a couple of minutes even to answer to some question before that.
Yes. So, should I first answer your question and then everyone else, or can I first answer everyone else's questions and then yours? To sum it
First
all up.
everyone.
Alright, so starting with mirrors. What I consider the thing with the mirrors that someone said here that I think it was you, that we first have to discover ourselves. I don't really think there is much to discover. I mean,
we can discover our boundaries, what we can do and what we can't do, but who we are, well, simple as that, we can look into the mirror and stop, as Shimon said, bullshitting ourselves, and after that we can either accept ourselves or change it. We see someone in the mirror. We may like it, we may not. So that's about the mirrors. Regarding the computer, the rig, you asked about the surface of the computer, you know, the case. Well, I stand before you, that's my case, it's not the prettiest I have seen, but then again it's mine. The insides of the computer, yes, I do believe that at some point you can change them. And well, you, as far as I remember, you were speaking about being considered someone and actually being that someone. So being good with math, or being considered good with math. Well, that being said, I can give you one example about what being considered leads to. Well, it's actually my own experience, and to some point in my life I wasn't very self-confident. I had a problem with that. And I learned from someone that if you tend to fake it for a long time, you will learn to be self-confident, and it actually works.
So you can make it.
Yeah, well, pretty much that. You fake being confident for so long towards the people that they actually start to believe in you. And then you, at one point in the history, you will look at it and, well, yeah, everything I say works, so yeah, I start to be confident. And that's that. Regarding the what I do mean by personality, changing life, and an example of that. Well, you said something that will very much help me. You told me that that you have duties, and you do not. You didn't say anything about if you find them pleasing or not, and your spare time and what your decisions will be in that spare time. And I will give you a different example. For example, well, maybe not a very accurate one because of nowadays actions. Let's consider a soldier during World War II, a person who is a creator. So a person who likes to create, who likes to paint, to draw, to play a piano, but they suffer internally because they have to do things they don't like, and at some point they might want to change who they are. They might want to change that they actually like this war, that like the conditions, the fact that they kill people, and make the duty they can't avoid easier and actually pleasant. So I think that would be an example for you regarding what I would consider changing a personality regarding to conditions, not only what I want to do. Right, you lot 4. You spoke about changing and not changing, and I never said that it's easy to not change. I said it is possible. I do believe it is possible. It would be, as I said, it would be extremely hard. It would be way harder than just to change, because you would have to keep track of everything you are and, well, not change. I don't know how to do it.
Even if you kept track, it's not said that you would succeed in that.
Yes, of course. That's what I mean by saying it's extremely hard. I mean, that's that.
Well, I think we have the 0 and 100%. I mean, you cannot be totally 100, you cannot be totally 0, but it's almost 0 and it can be almost 100.
Yeah, it's almost 0% chance for not changing. I mean, it's nearly impossible, but I would consider myself a fool if I would completely disregard a possibility. There might be a singularity.
Okay,
something
you get a point.
strange.
You can live in a box.
Yeah, for example, yeah, or in a barrel. That's a good example, taking for...
I already said something about living in complete isolation.
Guys, please, otherwise we will never finish this way, okay?
Right. I'm sorry if I didn't answer all of the questions, or I didn't talk about all the remarks I've been given.
We're gonna have to live with it.
Yeah, sorry for that. And to answer your question, what I have learned, I have...
What have you found interesting? I don't know if you learned it or not.
All right. I have gathered a lot of information, especially about what people consider to be the personality, or what they consider what they can change about themselves or other people, and how can they do that. So yeah, that's what I found most interesting. Not, let's say, not the fact that people were, as in every discussion, trying to convince to their own point of view, but the difference of and variety of information presented to support their cases. So I will certainly leave the philosophical cafe this evening with way more knowledge than I came with.
Okay. Now I answer to one question, because before I was astonished, because I say that everybody coming to a philosophical cafe can have some philosophical consulting for free, and Maciej, that is here like for the third time at least, asked me, but what is philosophical consulting? So I thought to myself, yes, maybe not everybody knows what's that. So very briefly, it's just a logical way to deal with everyday problems. Let's say it's some kind of alternative to psychology. You can answer yourself, okay, I don't need anyone to philosophize, I can do it by myself. Yes, maybe, but philosophical consulting is something that is quite expensive normally. And as you already been to a philosophical cafe, you got one for free, so just in case you can try. And if you want a more detailed explication, of course, please speak with me after the event, because I don't want to get anyone bored with my profession. And so thank you everybody for coming. Thank you for Cocofli. Czy to jest Cocofli albo Cocofli? Cocofli, przepraszam, nie wiedziałem. Is a word invented by a Polish philosopher. I don't remember. You told me. Yeah, can you tell us what's that?
Leszek Kołakowski.
Yeah, but what's the word?
Okay.
Just because I think that anyone is curious about.
So there is a novel written by Leszek Kołakowski. The title is Job, czyli antynomię cnoty. And the excerpt is here. W najwyższej sferze niebios mieścił się wytworny bar, gdzie Elohim zwykł wysłuchiwać sprawozdań z ziemi od swych wysłanników i gdzie także szatan się zjawiał. Bar ten nosił figlarne miano Cocofli, co było skrótem od szeregu nazw odznaczających różne stopnie wzajemnych stosunków między dwoma konkurentami. Coexistence, co, cooperation, F, friendship, L, love, I, identity.
Co mnie minęło?
Dziękujemy bardzo. Ja poproszę jeszcze battle, bo zrobicie co chcecie.